Hello, hello. Welcome to our second book club. We're both on Zoom and streaming live on Facebook. So at the top of the Facebook page is the Zoom link in case you want to jump on Zoom. And it's also, there are links to get the book on Amazon and a way to get the book free. So I had to restart my computer and add updates, and it has been a very interesting deal. So now I need to go get the book, which has been hiding from me since this update. So there it is. Okay, good. So we are still in chapter 1. We just started last week with the introduction and a little bit of chapter 1. And so I wanted to I'm not sure which page it is for which version of book you have, but it's the conclusions versus curiosity part of chapter 1. And I just wanted to sort of briefly touch on this, which is that conclusions are the thing that a human mind really seeks. It looks for ways to be tidy and safe and, answered, right? And yet curiosity is more like the flow of life, if you will. So just realize that when you're looking for final answers, that it's most likely your small human mind. This is one of my many barometers, that when I'm looking for something that is very conclusive, then I know that my mind has sort of got the reins, so to speak. My whole objective in going through my moments is to stay in enough present moment observation where I can notice whether my mind is running the show or if I have a connection to my higher self that includes my heart in the equation, and I'm in my body, and then there's a whole scope, a broader scope of connection to the source of life and the field of life, the intelligent field that I have access to that I don't have when I'm only operating from my small human mind. And there's a whole chapter, we're going to get into that a little bit more, but the human mind is convinced there's nothing beyond the physical, even though research shows that we are 96% non-physical, right? So like our field, our own personal field, right? Like it's called etheric field, and it's about, this far. If you put your arms straight out at the fingertips, all the way around you, that's your personal field. And that can be expanded. Like it's not a fixed thing. The thing that, is true about life is it's dynamic. It's not fixed. And the mind likes things to be fixed so that it feels safe and it knows how to make choices. And it usually bases those choices on the past. And we're programmed by these past programs, right? They're past experiences that the mind thinks if we've lived through those experiences and we do the same thing now, then we'll be okay. But it doesn't know for sure if we change it up that we'll be safe. And so the mind always gets nervous and anxious about that. Honestly, probably, now this is just my own observation. This is not something I can back up with research, but I would say 80 to 90% of the anxiety that a human being feels, this is my own personal knowing, comes from our past and us being in the present, wanting to make a decision that leaves our past programming behind. And that causes this gap. It's like, oh, this is new, this is old. There's a gap in between. We want to choose something new. And there's an anxiety that gets stirred up in us. And that's our lower human mind saying, no, don't do this new thing. I can't, guarantee your safety. So just, if we know that, we can work around it. We can calm our system. We can, invite I'll just tell you what I do is I literally ask liquid love to fill my nervous system and both soothe and strengthen it. I ask for that for my brain tracts. The vagus nerve is the only nerve that leaves the cranium and innervates our entire central core and accesses all of our organ systems in there. A lot of people have a sensitivity in their vagal vagus nerve reaction. And so when we learn how to settle that in ourselves, we get really ahead of the game with anxiety. So that's kind of an important thing. And all of that, all the anxiousness, all of the uncertainty and the feeling of not standing on a solid rock of conclusion, which is what the mind wants, is a stressful thing for this is an internal stress response. It's not like we're in traffic or we're missing a deadline or someone's yelling at us. That's an external source of stress, right? So the internal source of stress are all the ways that we allow, because we haven't been taught, if we hear about it, we don't give ourselves permission to practice so that we can train ourselves to come back to a center point and learn and find evidence that the roof doesn't cave in, right? So those are internal stress responses that are kind of taking us down rabbit holes all the time, and they're very difficult on our health. So my goal is to teach humans how to navigate that and how to come back to a center point and come into a connection with the source of life, because that's honestly the only real way that we can stay in our center point and have access to the intelligent field. We really can't do that from a disconnected place and from our lower human mind. So the lower human mind thinks that if something can't be measured or seen, it's not valid. The lower human mind thinks that a highly educated mind is the best form of intelligence, and it's not. Because there's a field, as I keep mentioning, a field of intelligence that is way more broad and wide and layered and intelligent than an educated human mind. No offense to education, I love it. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with these things in the lower human mind. I'm just saying it's not the ceiling. It's not the end game. It's not the all that is, right? There's so much more beyond that. And we're at a point in human history where we're moving beyond those edges. And it is a bit scary, because we don't know what the small human mind doesn't know what's beyond those edges. Do you know who does? Our higher presence, our higher self, divine love herself. She knows, and she keeps saying, it's okay. It's good. I promise you'll be safe. Trust me. You know, one of my favorite things to contemplate, and it's in my litany of things I say to myself in the morning, which is, this this permission that we give ourselves is safe, and we just continue to provide evidence day in and day out until the scales tip in favor of, okay, this really is a good thing. I think I'll keep going with it. And then we build this momentum, and it serves us well. And here's the thing: you have until the rest of your life. You have the rest of your life to build this momentum and to play and to practice and to train, if you will. So the opposite side of the coin of conclusions, of this deep desire for the human mind to have these conclusive rocks to stand on, is curiosity. Curiosity involves the heart. Curiosity involves the connection to this quantum field, this limitless quantum field of intelligence and love. And so we can just switch these up in our mind. Again, this takes practice, but instead of the mind noticing, when you notice your mind is looking for this conclusion, you could say, well, this is what I do. I wonder how such and such works. I wonder how it would work if I tried this. I wonder what would happen if I did it this way instead of that way. If that way is the way you always do it, and you ask your broader mind and your heart included in that, wonder how it would be if I tried it this way. Let's just go on an adventure, an experiment with this. What else might be important? These questions are in the book. What else is important about this? Because if we're looking for this small conclusive knowingness, there's always going to be more of a broader scope to it. So if this is what we know, then we can say, what else is important about this? What else is valuable for me to discover or understand about this, whatever this is, right? We could do this on literally any given subject in our day. And there's lots of these subjects, right? And then you can ask the intelligent field, how can I receive the best solution to this quandary or to this problem? What is the highest, fastest, happiest answer to this question? Can you show me? Like, I am constantly living in these questions because I think that these inquiries open up energy in a way that the conclusions close energy. That's the point of this section of the book. We're looking to open energy, not to contract it. We're looking to expand, not because it's scary and unsafe, but because it includes so much more possibility. It includes so many more options for us as human beings walking on this earth, right? We've exhausted all of the conclusions. We've exhausted all of the contractive ways of operating. And, I'm just inviting you to consider that it is okay to explore expanded considerations, right? Expanded inquiries. And you can just say, I say this all the time to my higher self, and I do this when I do creative process too. I say, show me what I'm not seeing here. Show me what is important for me to know that you know that I don't, right? And, you can just walk around in your day. You play with this for a day, right? Like, you can convince your mind that it's okay to play for a day or even a half a day, and just walk around and say, well, just show me more about this. I think I know it this way, but show me what else I don't know, and just see what you get, right? It's very, it's a playful thing. It's very playful to do this with the universe, because the universe is actually quite playful. And if you allow yourself to sort of find that groove in yourself and set aside the seriousness of things, even as the world seems crazy and chaotic and calls you to feel like you have to be serious, you don't actually. You will find much more ways to contribute and be impactful in bringing the world to more of a stabilized and healthy place in a playful mode than you will in a serious mode. Because the serious mode is the mind just having you locked into a very narrow view. So the other thing, I'm moving on to the next section, which is about contrast. So contrast, oh, you know what? I said I would play with, hang on a second. I'm gonna just see if there's any questions, because I missed all the questions last time and I still don't see where to find them. Let me jump into the Zoom room and see if there's, last time I was doing the Zoom on my iPad, and anyway, I apologize for, I will get the right combination of this, but let me get myself back to the, there it is. Okay, good. To the contrast. So a human mind, when something happens, this is where the human mind, and let's just say it's not favorable. It's not the highest serving thing to say or situation or idea we have, right? It's like it's in that limited, sort of more contracted field, if you will, or area. What we want to help ourselves remember on the regular is that there's always a contrasting option to the thing that we're locked in on. So if we're laser locked on something, and that something is something we don't like or we don't want or isn't serving for us, if we just take a breath and a split-second moment to realize there's an equal or greater opposite to this energy that we're locked onto, so we can ask the question, what is the equal or greater energy that I might explore, that this thing that I'm locked onto is showing me to consider, right? This isn't the end game. This is actually the starting point. When we're locked onto something and we don't like it, that's the starting point. It's not the end game. But the human mind is like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, this is what, I don't want this, I don't want this. What do I do? What do I do? And we give it all of our energy. And this is just sort of a basic law of energy, that when we funnel our energy into something, we are giving it fuel. But if we were to just calmly, staying in our center, staying connected, including our heart in the equation, not kicking the mind or head out of the game, but just saying, hey, there are more players in this game than just you. So let's all work together in a team way. And you can train your mind to do this, right? And then you can say, okay, so what is this contrast showing me? What is it that is opposite of this energy that this energy, this contrasting energy is showing me that I would rather have? And how? And then you be in that inquiry. So for an example, let's just say you're afraid of something, because this is a common thing. Then you can say, okay, well, what do I want to trust about this? What do I need in order to trust about this? Or let's say you feel anxious about something. Well, how can I be in a calm state? How can I create an ease in my body to replace the tension in my being so that I can walk forward in whatever the situation is, right? But we have to engage ourselves in this. We can't stay laser locked onto the fear, the anxiety or the thing we don't want, and expect it to be any different, because this is where we're funneling our energy. And the more heightened and emotional we get about the funneling of the energy, the more of a grip this laser lock has. So the idea is to just kind of like unhook, appreciate the feedback or the information, I guess is the way to say it, and then start asking questions. What else would be really juicy, that this is trying to show me? And those questions, depending on the situation, you will often receive from your higher presence or from the intelligent field, from the universe. You will receive insights. And if it's a big, hairy ass thing, it might take a little bit longer. You might need to work the energy a little bit more. But I'm telling you that you have nothing to lose and everything to gain by considering the thing that's present and its opposite. And there isn't usually just one thing that's opposite, but it falls into the same general energetic sense where there's an ease to it. There's more of a joyful thing here. Now you have to give yourself permission to explore that, honestly, because when we're locked here, we have not been told, or we've not learned, and we've certainly not trained ourselves to give ourselves permission to say, you know what, there's a better option, and I'm going to go for that. I'm going to play with that. I'm going to discover that, even if it takes me a minute, even if it's really clunky and clumsy initially. So what? You're in training. You're building the muscle. You're practicing. It's, anything new in the beginning is always clunky. But I'm telling you, the results that you get by playing with this is so worth your tripping over yourself for however long in the beginning on any given subject, until you realize and you're standing up on your own 2 feet and going, whoa, there is something here. And I'm going to visit this place often, on as many times as I can remember. And then the more you do it, the more you'll remember. The more you do it and realize the goodness of it, the more inspired you will be to remember and explore here, right? So let me just see what else I would want to say about this. Honestly, I can't even, it's incalculable how many times I do this throughout the day and over the years. And, I offered one simple suggestion. I remember a number of years back, I was stretching in the morning, and I couldn't figure out why, because I stretch out, very regularly every day. And I have for, 35 years or something like that. I'm a big fan of stretching. I actually feel like it pops and releases light or life force or something out of my cells when I pull open any muscle that I'm stretching, and and just sort of give it this spaciousness, and then lymph and blood and oxygen can flow in there and flush out inflammation and nourish the cells as they're turning over all the time. And there's something that gets released in that, and that's why I love it. And it speaks to giving ourselves permission to feel good, right? Giving ourselves permission to say, I want to explore the arena that will give me something that feels good, that feels aligned with goodness, right? I mean, we literally have been programmed to feel bad and to suffer and to just figure out how to live with pain, whether it's emotional or physical or mental or spiritual. And that is not our design. Our design is to say, wow, okay, there's something here getting my attention. Let me go, I'm using these examples, but of course, it's just to speak about this. But this arena has the goods, right? And so we have to give ourselves permission to get the goods. Now, a lot of human minds will say, oh, you don't deserve that. Look at all these terrible things you've done, these terrible things you've said. I deserve this, the punishment of this painful arena over here. And I'm telling you, that is a game our mind plays with us. And if you just say, well, hang on, this is what I've done over the past. Hang on. I know you feel this way, but I'm just going to go see what's over here. I know you don't think it's safe, but I'm just going to go experiment and explore. You can come with me or not. I'll report back, but we're going there, right? And then when you do it enough times, you realize, oh, that's the way it's supposed to be. And then you train your mind that it's safe and that you're the director. You're a good director of your own mind. You parent yourself, right? You say to the young child, stop throwing a tantrum. You can come with me. I'll take you by the hand and we'll go together, or you can hang out and I'll come back and report. I mean, that's literally how it goes in my mind. So anyway, I was asking my higher self, what do I need to do? Because I was feeling tight and I didn't understand why I was feeling tight amidst this regular stretching regime. And, I wanted to feel pliable and loose and ease-filled and, and have more relaxation than tension in my body. And literally that unfolded a cascade. It wasn't like one simple thing, like, take these green supplements or something. I mean, that was part of it, but it was just not that. There was a lot of ingredients in the recipe. And a lot of it had to do with taking myself out of the tense tangle of this energy and allowing myself to play in this easeful, more relaxed, more like in the flow, joyful sort of place. And that released the tension in my system. Now, this might seem a little bit, I don't know what the word is, like woo-woo for the human mind to consider, for like if you're looking for something to lower stress and anxiety. I'm telling you, if you leave this piece out, you will only get so far with whatever other things you're doing, because this piece is the underpinnings of stress and anxiety and fear. Because when we're here, we have locked out the light and the love and the ease of the universe. And so if you insist that what I'm talking about is way too woo-woo and you go hunting for other things, you can do that. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying you'll end up back here. And how do I know? 60 years of saying, no, it can't be this, can't be this. I mean, I really didn't understand that there was a this, but I just kept avoiding this. I just kept, leaving myself trapped here. And so I'm just inviting you to just stop doing that, because it doesn't get you anywhere good. And if you're just willing to play a little bit and explore, you'll discover it for yourself. I mean, that I trust. I'm just babbling these words, but what I know in every atom of my being, of which there are trillions, and there's not one atom that I don't know this in, so deeply, is that if you give your higher presence a chance, if you give your higher self some attention and some connective time throughout the day, that part of you will teach you what my words are speaking. And then you'll go, oh, okay, I now again, it has to be an embodied experience, right? Healing doesn't happen at the intellectual level. It happens in the embodied experience. And so I'm just inviting you to at least consider playing with it and teaching yourself how this actually goes, right? So that's the long and the short of our time together in book club. And next week we'll still be in chapter 1. I'm not really sure how long. I know I said this last week already, but I'm not really sure how long it's going to take us to get through this book. But, certainly throw your comments in if you'd like things to go faster. It's just that these words that are written on the page have so much there's so much layered depth to them and essence to them that I just feel that it's worth talking about them, so that that hopefully things ping and click, and there's a aha for you beyond just the words that you have already read, if you have. So anyway, so next week we're going to be talking about like the cosmology of life. If we have a cosmology in our conscious awareness, it's just a little bit easier to understand why things are unfolding as they are, not only in your own individual life, but in the collective and in the world stage, right? So that's that's what we'll do next week. I really encourage you, if you will, to let me know what's popping for you, what even if you're farther ahead in the book and you want to ask a question about something that's in there, do it. Don't feel like it has to be limited to the few paragraphs we're going over in our lives together. So lives, not lives, lives together. So I encourage you to like this page. I encourage you to share this information with those you care about. The links are in the page, the Creating Sacred Health page. Forward these videos on to people you care about, so that, because here's the reason why I'm asking you to do that. The more people who begin the process of connecting with their higher self and understanding how unerringly the universe surrounds us and is ready to help in any given moment based on our request for help, right? The universe will not infringe on our free will, because we're on a planet of free will. So that's we have to ask, right? And so asking is a big deal. Inquiring is a big deal. Concluding shuts everything down. Conclusions shut everything down. That's what we started out talking about, right? So the more of us who are waking up to this and realizing, oh, there is a lot more to life than I've been led to believe. And so the more of us who do that, the quicker we tip the scales in the grander scheme, in the world stage, toward health and freedom and harmony. And it's beyond just fixing the systems and hopefully getting politics to be less contentious. It's so much more beyond that. But we have to connect in order for there to be a viewpoint, the vista of what is beyond that, right? So share this wide and far, so that more and more of us can be sort of stepping into that, if you will. And I thank you for that. I forgot to introduce myself. I mean, anyway, I'm Laurie Morrison, and 30-year practitioner of Chinese medicine and the director of the Sacred Health Academy. So, and my mission in life is to help every human being. I work more with women. That's our Sacred Health Academy is for women, not to be exclusive to men, but the book is available to all humans. And my mission is to have the conversation about what our higher self actually are, the potential of our higher self actually is, and close the gap between our humanity and our divinity. Because when we do that, it's game over for all of this, all the shenanigans that go down that disempower human beings, enslave human beings, and take away our freedoms, and leave us in the state of struggle and pain. Because that era, that time of life is coming to a very hard close. What we're seeing on the planet is the death rattle, if you will, the last vestiges of that old energy. And it's up to us to come into a center point and create a new, right? And that might sound a bit fantastical, but that's where we're at. And I invite you to participate. And it is safe to do so when you're connected to your higher self. You wouldn't be here on the planet in your physical life if you didn't have what it takes to play along with all of our fellow brothers and sisters. So on that happy note, I will see you next week for the next part of the book.